how can I make things simple? So, number one, if you're going to simplify, right? How can you simplify your life? How can you simplify your business? How can you clear the clutter from your brain, from your physical space? Hello, and welcome to the Chaos to Clarity podcast. My name is Maggie, aka your business bestie. I teach female coaches, speakers, and course creators to release procrastination and perfection so that they can get more done, book more clients, and have the time freedom that all entrepreneurs crave. This is not your typical business coaching podcast. We're talking about business, life, probably some wooey magic, and probably some singing or referencing song lyrics along the way. So if you're into business building, making more money, and getting a little bit of a mindset shift along with having a good laugh, you're definitely in the right place. I've grown 3 businesses from $0 to consistent 4 and 5 figure months over the last 15 plus years. And now I'm helping you do the same thing. It didn't happen overnight, and it certainly didn't happen without the help of others. They say it takes a village to raise children, and I believe it takes a village to grow a business as well. So in this podcast, you'll find people who help you grow your village, cheer you on, as well as holding you accountable. I'm so excited you're here, and I can't wait for you to listen to each episode. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome back to the Chaos to Clarity podcast. My name is Maggie. I'm your business bestie, the creator of the Chaos to Clarity coaching method, and the creator of the Empower Her Business Blueprint. So today I want to talk a little bit about decluttering. And if you follow me on social media, you know that I have 2 kids, right? I have a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old. So we definitely have little kid clutter all over our house, but I also have clutter on my desk. And now normally it doesn't always bother me, but I have talked with a few different people over the last few weeks, and decluttering has come up often in these conversations, right? In these interviews for the podcast, as well as just in general, right? How can I simplify and declutter? And I really actually love this topic a lot. And it's actually something I realized that I do quite often is declutter. And by declutter, I mean just, picking up my desk area and, like cleaning up my desktop on my computer, but also cleaning up things like links, freebies, all of that stuff. So where this all stems from is that I have been on a mission for myself and my business to really simplify things, right? I want a 4 to 6 hour work day. I want to work about 4 days a week. And I have a number of, I want 3 to 4 one-on-one clients, and I want 1 or 2 group coaching cohorts. Okay, so that's where all of this kind of stems from, is the amount of clients that I want versus the amount of working hours that I have. So I've definitely talked on the podcast before about how to really create your schedule, right? And a couple episodes ago, I talked about your offers and an offer suite, and also a little bit about pricing. And from that episode, I really started thinking, how can I really simplify what I'm doing so that, social media content creation is not taking me 3, 4, 5 hours, basically an hour a day, right? How can I simplify that? And then how can I also simplify really kind of scheduling, right? Content, and how can I just simplify, how can I make each thing that I do in my business simple? And that is everything from content creation to conversations to, links that I have. How can I declutter specifically my links? Because, like, right now, I have a calendar for every different thing, and it's a lot of links. So, how can I bring that down to just one link, or just a couple important links? So that's really where a lot of this stems from, is my desire really to keep things simple. But in having that simplicity, I have so much more space for growth, for just expansion. And really, I have space then to scale my business and scale it on kind of a lean track, right? So if you're in corporate, a lot of you will know about Lean Six Sigma. Now, I don't know a ton about Lean Six Sigma, but I will say, just from the name, right? How can I make things simple? So, number one, if you're going to simplify, right? How can you simplify your life? How can you simplify your business? How can you clear the clutter from your brain, from your physical space? Now, obviously you can pick up the clutter that's in your physical space, which does help. And I will say, from someone who regularly has a messy desk, when I clean it, I feel so good. So I try to remind myself at the end of every business day to clear the clutter from my desk. And that is where a lot of this started, right? To either stack things neatly in a pile. Right? I have a number of notebooks on my desk, and I have a number of just like papers, reminders, things like that. But how can I really just like pick up and have things put away in their spaces, so that when I sit down at my desk in the morning, I don't feel overwhelmed. I have the ability to, turn on my computer, boot everything up, get into Notion, which is something that I've also started utilizing more of for just all of my to-dos, right? I am a perpetual note taker, and I love to physically write notes down, which is cool. But that led to so many notes all over the place. That has led to so many notebooks all over the place. Like right now, I have a stack of notebooks on my desk that three or four of them are full, and I have to go through them and either throw away the notes that I don't want, or get the notes that are in there that are important into Notion. So I've been working really hard on getting most of my notes into Notion. And in Notion, right, I've got a dashboard, I've got a goal tracker, I've got tasks and projects, content planner, resource organizer, DM scripts, and then just some admin info, okay? I've also got some daily habits in here. So for me, I've learned that if I can check off a box, I actually feel really good about what I'm doing, right? And that allows me to have like a success list of like, okay, here are the things that I need, the bare minimum of things that I need in the day in order to feel successful, both in life and in business. And now, yes, I'm an entrepreneur, but also, like, how can I really utilize these spaces, these things, these tools that I've created in a simple way that really allows me maximum results? Now, for Notion and like habits, I don't just want to be checking a box just to check a box, right? I want to be able to hop onto Notion and just understand, okay, for myself today, right? My self habits, I want to work out or move my body. I want to meditate every day, right? I also want to read 30 pages per day. So, how can I set myself up to do those things, right? And take that self care time? And then also, what do I want to be on my business success list. So here's something that if you're like, sounds like a lot of work, right? This is what I want you to do. I want you to grab a piece of paper, grab a pen or a pencil, and write down 3 to 5 things that, if in a perfect world, if you could do these 3 to 5 things for yourself every single day, what would they be, right? Mine are working out, reading 30 pages, and meditating. Those are 3 things that I want to do that often get set to the side, but when I do them, I feel really, really good. I feel like I can take on the day, right? So how can I fit those 3 things in? And it doesn't matter how long the workout is or the body movement is, right? It doesn't matter how long I meditate. And, reading 30 pages is pretty easy for me. It's something that I try to do before I go to sleep at night. So those are like 3 of my daily habits, daily successes for my personal, right? Now for my business, 3 of my business habits every day are: number 1, checking in on Facebook Messenger, right? Connecting with anyone who's messaged me on Facebook Messenger. Number 2, connecting with my clients. And then number 3, making offers, right? Whether that's an offer to hop on a free Zoom call or an offer to opt into one of my programs. Those are 3 things that I make sure I do every single day, right? That just keeps me in the loop. It keeps me knowing that I have people in my pipeline, right? It keeps me knowing that I am moving forward. Now, when you think about these things with simplicity in mind, okay, how can you clear the clutter? As someone who loves to please people, I have so many links, you guys. I have so many links. And I have refrained from putting them in here. And I have links to all kinds of freebies. But I also know that not everyone wants all of my freebies. So I've been doing a lot of work to either clear out the freebies of like, I don't want XYZ anymore. I'm taking this link down. I'm restructuring this, blah, 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 right? Or I'm also decluttering the amount of like calendar links that I have, right? So I've whittled it down to a podcast link for an interview and a collaboration call, and then a discovery call and coaching call. So I have 4 links. Right now I think I have like 8. Right? So instead of having like a discovery call, a clarity call, a this call, a that call, I have just one call that's like a free call with me, right? And I can use that for offer audits. I can use that for human design. I can use that for, really kind of using it for whatever I want it to be for. But also setting up that calendar link so that the person can choose, right? They can have a drop down in that link to say, okay, I'm hopping on, this is the call, right? This is the call link. And then there's an option on this link to choose either a discovery call, an offer audit, a human design audit, or, a few other the things that I offer. Okay. So again, making it simple. Now, why do we want to simplify, right? Why do we want to simplify? Because when you simplify things in your life, in your business, it feels so much easier to show up. At least it does for me, right? And I'm imagining that if you're listening to this, you might either be already doing things in a simplified way. And I don't necessarily mean like simplify as in, speaking or doing things in like a childlike manner, right? I mean, doing things in a way that feels easy to show up for, right? So if you take my daily habits in Notion, it is very easy for me to open Notion and click the box, yes, I've worked out. Yes, I've connected in the DMs. Yes, I've made an offer. Yes, I've read 30 pages. It's very easy for me to show up and do that, right? Simple things. It doesn't matter what the book is. It doesn't matter how long I meditate. It doesn't matter how many people I connect with in the DMs, right? It can be 1, it can be 10. Because some days it is only one person that I'm connecting with, and that's just simply how the day is laid out, right? And then with the calendar links, right? Understanding that I am only going to put a maximum amount of 3 meetings per day on my calendar. That if you're booking, there's only like 3 or 4 spots that I am open to taking on. Now, why? Because otherwise I'm going to spend all day on calls and then I'm going to feel like I'm getting absolutely nothing done. And in business, when you're an entrepreneur, when you're a solopreneur and you work mainly by yourself, there is nothing that creates more chaos in your business than an overloaded calendar. This is something that I've talked to many clients about. It's something that I've talked with my own coaches about. It's something that, like a lot of people that I talk to, whether they are clients or not, they have so many thoughts about all of this stuff. And I think it's so important, right, to understand, like, if things are not working, then we need to shift them, right? Especially if they feel chaotic, if they feel heavy, if they feel like you're constantly just chasing your tail on all of these things, right? All of the things happening, and you are just like fighting for time in your day. The number one way to create more time in your day is to simplify what it is you're doing, right? To set those parameters, those boundaries around what you're doing and adhere to that. And it might sound a little crazy. It might sound a little scary. It might feel scary. I know for me, when I limited my calendar, I was like, oh man, but what if, blah, 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 right? There's a million reasons. There's a million things you can say. But at the end of the day, I knew that I needed to be able to show up fully in my business. And the way that I was going to be able to show up fully in my business was for me to have a simple way to do things, right? I don't need all of the complicated stuff. I don't need that, right? I need it to be simple. I need it to be easy. So if you're decluttering, if you're wanting to declutter, right? Start with the space around you. Start with your desk. Clean up your desk. Put things away. I can't say that and stress that enough, right? Even right now, as I'm looking at my desk, I have 3 or 4 things that I am looking at on my desk thinking, okay, I need to declutter this space, right? I need to shift some things and I need to put some things away. And it's okay, right? It's okay for me to realize that, oh, I didn't do this thing. How can I make this less crazy for myself, right? And I think as an entrepreneur, as you're growing, as you're shifting, as you're opening up some of these new avenues that you are, really stepping into, how can you make them simple, right? And it might sound crazy that, like, why would I want to make these simple? Why don't I want, like, if you're thinking about a funnel, for instance, why don't I want a big flashy funnel? Well, what if that funnel breaks? What if the funnel breaks and now you're up shit creek without a paddle and you don't know what to do to fix it, right? So from a business standpoint, making things simple, starting with what's in front of you, right? Cleaning up your space. I promise you'll probably feel better about it. And then from there, how can you clean up your calendar? That was the next step that I took. Cleaned up my space, I cleaned up my calendar. And that meant going through the calendar links that I had and either getting rid of some of them, right? Combining some of them, or just understanding like which ones do I absolutely need and how can I create ones that really cover everything that I need them to. And then from there, right, how can I create a daily success list of things that I need to do, number one, for myself, right? How can I take care of me? And then number two, how can I take care of my business? What are 3 to 5 things that I need to do every single day in my business, in my life, in order to create the maximum results? Now, the other week, I spoke with a woman who her tagline is action takers get results, right? If you're familiar with Nicole Sherry, that is her tagline, action takers get results. And that is so true, right? So if you are feeling like you are not taking action, right? I would bet that some of the inaction, right? Some of the non-action might be because things are cluttered. Things are confusing. It's hard to show up when you're confused. Now, it's also a choice to stay in that confused state. So, if you are feeling confusion, if you're feeling chaos, start by decluttering. Start by simplifying. And that can look like picking up the toys in the living room, right? Picking up the area around your desk, picking up your desk, combining your notes, taking old notes out and putting, getting a new notebook or shifting things into Notion or whatever that means, right? So understanding that you have the power to create the simplicity. You have the power to shift from chaos into clarity. You have that power, and you have that power to take action right now. Like, you can start doing this right now. So I really want to encourage you to lean into that, right? Lean into the power of the possibility to allow things to be simple in your business. Simple doesn't necessarily mean that it's quote unquote easy or will always be easy. There's going to be ups and downs in business and in life. But if something is simple, it's easy for you to understand. It's easy for someone else to understand, right? If things are complicated, it's not necessarily easy for someone else to pick things up or help you or do this, that, and the other thing. So go forth, declutter. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. So if you are like me and have, I'm going to call it chronic clutter on your desk, where are you at right now? Like, what does that mean for you? And how, if you want to shift out of that, how can you shift out of that, right? How can you allow yourself to step into clarity right now? So as always, go ahead and send me a message on Instagram. You can find me at Magulin Coaching on Instagram. Send me a message. I would love to hear your thoughts on decluttering, on simplifying, on just creating something that's easy to show up for in your business. So I hope you have enjoyed this week's episode. I can't wait to connect with you, and I would absolutely adore it if you could rate, review, share this episode, especially if you found it to be really helpful for you. So I hope you have the best day ever, and I will talk to you again soon.